I was trying to process my thoughts, but okay.
We're starting.
All right, you guys are gonna get what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Be prepared. So
I
what
was
happened
reading.
was we were on here at 10, right? And I was trying to figure out how to do this recording with two faces in it. And
Yeah.
I hope this works. If not, we're going to keep trying. And then we started
Yep.
talking a lot of things about life.
Definitely got sidetracked.
And then it's 1 hour
Major.
later. Okay, so anyway, but that was a really interesting conversation we had earlier. So I
Yeah,
learned a lot.
me too.
Yeah. I think I just also want to clarify that that you're in your home country, you're in Ghana, and I'm based in Seattle, and we're doing this like overseas.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Technology. Yeah.
Okay, Loretta, do you want to share something to encourage the peeps?
Okay. It's definitely not prepared, but I was just reading John, I think it's John 6, verse 1 to 15, the gospel about Jesus Christ multiplying loaves and fish. And I've read this so many times, but I don't know why I just noticed this. It says, or maybe it was because of the version that I was reading. But it's when it started, it was like as soon as Jesus saw the great multitude, he started to think about food for them. Like, and it never ever occurred to me. I don't know why. I always just went straight to the miracle, like he multiplied, fish and bread. But the beginning where it starts by saying, as soon as he saw the great multitude, it's like he was already processing, how are we going to feed these people? And it was like, not, oh, how are we going to feed these people? It's more like, okay, like, these people are going to have to eat at some point. And I don't know, but that was just like, that struck me. And that for some reason, I've never thought about it that way. I've never paid attention to it, but it's like, Jesus Christ was thinking about them, like providing for them, even before he got there, and like all of that. It's like walking into your house and seeing a bunch of visitors and being like, oh, like, these people are gonna have to eat lunch and I want to provide for them and stuff like that. And that was just comforting for me. I don't know. I think it was very encouraging. I don't know why. But
Especially
it's like
you
God
get
is
hungry.
actually right. Like not even in terms
Hungry
of
and
food.
angry.
Right, but not even in terms of food. It's like for me, it felt as if God was saying, I know what you need even before, because it's like most of these people weren't even thinking about lunch, maybe, but he had already pre-planned this and was already thinking about it for them. And so it's just like sometimes, you don't even know what you need, and you don't even know that God is thinking about what you need before you think about it. So it's just really encouraging for me.
Yeah. Are you talking about the miracle of like feeding the 5,000
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, that
4,000
one.
with like the fish and
Yeah,
like a
with
loaf
the
bread?
fish, yeah, and then the loaf. Because I think mostly I focused on the miracle of him, multiplying. Was it like 5 loaves and 3 fishes? That is that it?
Yeah.
I've been mostly focused on that. But then when I read, I'm saying it's probably because I read a different version. But how it started by saying like as soon as he approached, he was like asking his disciples and stuff. And then the disciples were like, well, we don't have food. Like it would take like how many days' wages to feed these people and all of that. It's like even like before they got there and started performing miracles or doing anything, like he was already thinking about that, about like
Yeah.
providing for them. And then I think he at some point he told the disciples to like recline. It's like, okay, you guys rest, it's like because maybe they started
Oh.
panicking and being like, oh, like it's gonna take like 10 days wages. And I think the way even like 10 days wages is not gonna be enough to feed these people. And it's like they're already panicking and worried, how are we gonna feed these people? And
Yeah.
God is just like recline, like he was telling them to rest. And like he didn't
Ooh.
say, oh, like let's start planning, like how are we gonna, like making a plan and like, sending people helter skelter. It was just like rest, because it's like he already knew what he was gonna do. And
I
I
love
think
that. It's like take a chill pill.
right.
Here's a chill
It's
pill.
like
Take
rest
it.
here, because in his head he's planning and he knows what he's gonna do, but
Hmm.
you don't know that, and you're like panicking. And it's like sometimes you're in a situation with someone where some people just their first instinct is to panic before they plan or solve issues. And for others, it's the opposite. And it's like being in a room with someone like that and thinking, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do now? And then the person's like, just calm down.
Yeah. I like that. I like, what version is that?
I think it's the net
Net? Is it a
version.
net?
Yeah. I think
And then
so.
what
Because I
text
read
is
it
it
online.
again?
John
John
6, verse 1 to 15.
John 6, verse 1
Yeah,
to 15.
15. Mm-hmm.
I can't believe, when the need is overwhelming, like we start computing on our minds, calculating,
Yeah,
and then you said,
planning,
yeah. And then Jesus said,
trying to get
recline.
resources, right? And he's just like, recline.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
telling them to
recline,
recline. Like, oh, like, what do you mean
recline.
recline? Like, do you see this?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think, okay, so I read that in the Mark version, and the one that
Mm.
we read that recently on one Saturday. I was doing this soap with a few friends, including my husband. And
Mm-hmm.
when we were talking about this part in Mark, I think also like we saw the compassion, because the disciples were ready to send them away.
Oh yeah, those
And
disciples
like,
know. They're almost just
yo, this is such a big responsibility. Like, send them away.
right. Like, we don't have to do this. Jesus, we
Yeah.
don't have to do this. Like, abort.
Yeah. Abort, abort, abort. But then I think what struck me on that, so that was also NET translation. And what struck me was, like when Jesus said, if we send them away, they've already been with us for like days, like hearing the word of God, listening to me. And then he said, if we send them away, they're going to pass out on their way out. And then I would be like, yeah, like,
So
hello,
yeah,
it's not a
that's not our problem,
responsibility.
right? I know so many people who would have said that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not my business.
My name is Nanya, Nanya Business.
Oh my goodness.
But he said, he said that with such like compassion and say, if we send them away, they're gonna pass out.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, really, I mean, I was just agreeing with how how you're saying recline. But
Right.
when
I'm trying to
things,
find like the exact verse that says that. But
yeah. So I think, I don't know how I picked it up from today. There are a lot of overwhelming issues that we have in our society. I mean, just in Seattle, there's an overwhelming issue of homelessness, especially this year in this pandemic. I mean, driving through the area and University of Washington, like, where campuses were empty and like parking spaces are empty. It was just, they're everywhere, and it can be overwhelming. And then our reaction could be, yeah, that's none of my business. That was way too overwhelming for me. I can't deal with that right now. And then Jesus invites, and say, recline.
right.
Right. But then there's, I don't know, there's a little bit of something, because like, the disciples, I mean, they offered their fish and their loaves, right? Which is obviously not enough for the rest of the group, the 5,000.
Right.
And then Jesus multiplied whatever resources they had. And then the
Yeah, even more
disciples,
than, yeah.
yeah, more than enough. And then the disciples had the firsthand witness of that miracle.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like when you said like, well, the NET says Jesus
Yeah,
told the
I'm going to have to
disciples,
double check on the version though, but I do think it's NET. Now
recline.
I'm trying to like figure out. Yeah, but I think it's NET. Not,
Rest.
I'll correct that.
Yeah. We could, we can put it in the chat or like text.
Yeah, and be like, hey, I was wrong. Yeah.
Mm.
But
So I guess
that was my weekly encouragement that sort of, has been getting me through my week. So thought I'd share.
that's very encouraging. I'm very encouraged. I mean, I'm not going to say
Yay.
anymore, but that was really encouraging too. It's like, also, I think it's a question of like, okay, what do we have that we can offer? So that
Yeah.
even though like things are overwhelming, we can rely on like
How do we help?
God's
Yeah. Mhm.
help and like grace. And I mean, all they did really was distribute,
Right?
What,
Yeah.
right? All they really did was like distribute and gather what was left.
Was left. That's
Yeah.
like God, give me an abundance. Like that's not a job. I can do that.
Yeah. But oftentimes we wait for the abundance to come first before we actually move. And I think that was like, remember, that was a fear of the disciples. Like, whoa, we don't have time for this. And we don't have stuff for this,
Yeah.
And then chillax,
Yeah.
recline. And then,
Recline.
yeah.
Just rest.
And also like
Yeah.
does Jesus compassion for people to not send them
Mm.
away. Yeah. Well, thank you. That was very encouraging.
Yeah.
I hope this video works.
Oh, right. Because we're recording side by side, aren't we?
Yeah. Hopefully. Not, we're gonna try
Hopefully it
again.
works.
If not,
Guys,
we're
we've been trying, okay? Maria's been doing most of the trying.
I should put it on the comment box. Like, guys, how do we put this side by side? Okay.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, girl. And your sister, you said. Maybe your sister
It's just because I haven't.
Your generation iGen sister.
It's just because I haven't been using my computer. I've been using my phone, and that's a bit limited. That's why I haven't. But I'm gonna look it up today and see how to make that work. And maybe I need to switch to my computer. Yeah.
True. Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank
Have
you.
an amazing weekend.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your week and good luck with your project.
Yes, true. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, I have to stop the recording first.
Oh.